And now let's continue to know your candidates. Our second hot copy this morning, we have senatorial aspirant Monsour Del Rosario. Monsour, good morning to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning, Karen. It's nice to see you. I've been seeing you in a while. I only see you in TV. I hope to see you in person one of these days again. Good morning to all your listeners.
All right, Monsour, let me start with that. The president said he's fulfilled almost all his campaign promises. Would you agree?
Not all. Maybe not all.
So
some yes, but
okay.
Not all.
So you agree with him?
Not all. Yeah, not all the promises. Not all. Yeah, I agree with him that he's done some, but not all.
Okay. All right. So among the president's campaign promises, where do you think? What do you think didn't he fulfill?
Well, I think for one was the problems in the West Philippine Sea. It's still unfinished, and it's a major problem that we have. What else did he promise? Well, the war on drugs, could have been more violent. Drugs are still around, but it's not as prevalent as before. So it has done a little good, but it's still there.
Okay,
it's still there.
But do you know that for a fact that it's not as prevalent as before?
Well, with my interviews and dialogues with people that I met, and where it was, rampant, they said it lessened the people using drugs and people selling drugs. It has lessened a lot. But if you look at the news and you hear a lot of reports, somehow it's still happening. It's still there.
Okay.
It's still a sickness in our country.
Okay, you were once a congressman of Makati. You were a Makati representative, and you have decided to run for the Senate under Senator Ping Lacson's party. And how did that happen?
That's always the question everybody wants to know.
Well, why did you suddenly decide to run for the Senate?
Well, Karen, let me put it this way. When I was in Congress, most of the bills that I proposed were not only beneficial for Makati City or the district that I represented. It was really for the whole nation. I mean, it's of national scope. And for me to be able to pursue all these bills that I've passed, and I made about 292 bills in 3 years. And for this to pass, to benefit and alleviate the lives of the Filipino people, I think being on a senatorial stage, I would be able to push all these bills much better than being in Congress. Second, when I had consultations and interviews with leaders from different sectors of society, different leaders in the political world, a lot of them were telling me, Monsour, you have a good name. You have a good track record. A lot of people know you. You go from Apari to Holo, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. You enter a public market, the port area, people love you. Let's put your name to good use. We know you're a man of integrity, a man of honor, and you've done so much. And, you're close to 60 years old. You have a lot of experiences, a lot of wisdom. You were a national athlete, coach, trainer, sports hero. You got into the movies. You did promote your martial art of Taekwondo. You were a counselor for a couple of terms. You were a congressman. Let's try and step up. There are other people that have less credentials than you that are there serving the nation. Why can't you just try and do this also for us? So here I am. I know I'm a dark horse, Karen. I know I'm the underdog. But, sometimes we fall and sometimes we deliver. But I've always been an underdog and I always rise to the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt you are more qualified than the others that are running, but the bigger question really is you didn't prepare for it. In other words, you didn't plant the seeds years ahead. You do have many who are running, who are also quite popular. But I read your track record in the lower house, and you actually did author and co-author close to 300 bills, in fact. So one would ask, why not continue a second term? Or why not first strengthen your base as a congressman? There are many congressmen that do become senators, but you're talking about those that really are able to make themselves known in the lower house.
Well, Karen, on the contrary, despite the fact that I wasn't in position on 2019 to the present,
Yeah.
I've been going around consulting a lot of people on this decision that I made, and of course my credentials could have been better. I could have done better, but you yourself said that there are people sitting in that office that when they got there, they don't have the credentials I had. They didn't serve the country the way I did as a national athlete, going to the Olympics, SEA Games, Southeast Asian Games, and all. They did not become councilors. They did not become congressmen, and yet they're there. So I think I'm convinced that it's about time. And if I don't make it, hey, it's fine. At least I tried to make a difference and help our people and the next generation of this country.
So what's your strategy, Monsour? How do you intend to win? You are seeing the surveys, I'm sure, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
you're not blind, right?
Yeah,
So let's be
that's fine.
practical here. How do you intend to win?
Well, surveys are just a guideline. I'm not, the surveys don't shake the ground I walk on. I go to the ground, I meet people, I go to the public markets, I go to the port areas, I talk to the people, I see how the people respond to me, and I meet lawyers, a lot of lawyers, I discuss my platforms with them, I get more exposure, I get interviewed, and once people hear me talk, and once people see that I have a lot to offer, then I'm not forcing myself on people.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
if they don't want, that's fine with me. I'm an option. If I don't make it, at least I try to make a difference to fight for the next generation. Because I know, like you said, how do I expect to win? I'm just gonna do my work. Now I leave it up to God, and I leave it up to the people to decide.
Oh, but I'm curious. Is there a social media strategy? How are you doing it? Right? I mean, campaigning this time is so different. And you're going on a national scale with one TV network really off the air, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, of course, social media is very important. And nowadays, they have TikTok, they have Instagram, Facebook, they have all that, right? I have a social media team who's doing a lot of vlogs for me on YouTube and stuff like that. And at the same time, I hit the ground. Hit the ground and I tell people that, I'm here. If, I'm serving, I'm running, and to let them know.
So why Monsour Del Rosario? I mean, clearly you've talked about already your lower house credentials, the work you've done. That's not debatable because it's on record. But people might be thinking, why you? What will a Monsour Del Rosario contribute to the Senate that other candidates with similar abilities essentially won't? What's the secret with you?
Well, Karen, if you look at my background, there's no candidate that has my background. That's number one. Number two, I offer new perspective, different insights to our problems. I cooperate and contribute in my special way. I work very fast. I don't know if you're aware of this, but a lot of people are earning money this pandemic due to my telecommuting act, the work from home law. Okay, and during that time, I did that in my 7th month in office in Congress. when there was a problem that had to be solved, the problem of traffic in the NCR, it would take me like 3 hours from Makati to get to the House of Representatives to just go and work every day, and then another 3 hours going home. So that's really 6 hours wasted of your day. So, I figured, and then I found a solution, and the Telecommuting Act became a law. And then little did I know that this global pandemic was going to happen. And lo and behold, the Filipino people are earning money, having work from home, getting the same benefits as other people do when they used to go to work, due to my law that I made. So I'm really a man of action in a way that you give me a problem, I'm going to solve it as fast as I can. But of course, I'm going to collaborate, talk to people, get the right decisions.
What will be your advocacy when you become a senator, or if you become a senator?
Well,
what would you focus? What's closest?
Are you referring? Yeah, are you referring to platforms, Karen? Because I have a few that I want to
maybe
discuss.
a specific law that you would like to act on. Yeah.
Well, the first thing I want to work on is the health workers, the PRC licensed health workers.
Okay.
I want to increase their salaries. I want to give them the healthcare heroes card for them to earn, for them to have the same benefits as PWDs and senior citizens, a 20% discount. So hopefully they won't leave the country and serve foreigners. Listening to Dr. Jonas Del Rosario, our problem is our nurses are leaving, and I understand why. So I want to keep them here to take care of our people instead of them leaving and taking care of the foreigners. Then I have something very close to my heart. I was teaching a lot of kids when I was teaching Taekwondo. I have a lot of kids who have, special kids, with ADHD, with autism.
Yes,
I wanna propose to make regional schools for them, facilities for them. Separate them from regular kids, because if they go to school with regular kids, they're going to get pushed around, they're going to get bullied, and government has a way of taking care of them when other people who can't afford to take care of them, like the less fortunate people, they don't know what to do. I've been to this place, this charity program, Chosen Children's Foundation, and I see a lot of kids there that have been abandoned, physically disabled and mentally challenged, and sayang, because they're born like that, they're going to die like that. But it can change. We can make a difference in their lives and make them be functional and be responsible and help society. Those are the two I want to do. And of course, agriculture. Very few people know that I was born in Manila. I was raised in Negros Occidental. In fact, I'm here right now, and agriculture has always been part of my life growing up, and I want to help the farmers, the fishermen. I want to make laws I want to simplify their laws for them to know and maximize the benefits that's due for them and that they can receive. And of course, sports. Sports is very close to my life. Everybody knows. I went to the Olympics and all that, and I was a sports leader. So I will take care of the athletes because they need someone to take care of them.
Okay, so let's talk about sports, because of course you know that the Filipino pole vaulter EJ Obiena has been in the news lately, where Patafa is investigating him for allegedly not paying his coach, and there was, of course, banter back and forth, and EJ Obiena's complained that his reputation's been maligned publicly and destroyed. So you were an athlete. If you were in the Senate, how would you fix something like this in terms of making a law for athletes? Because what's interesting with Patafa, as I found out, is Patafa gives the funds directly to the athletes. And the athletes, of course, are human. So whatever it could be, lack of time, expertise, or possible temptation, who knows, is they get into problems they shouldn't be getting into in the first place. So what would you change?
Well, Karen, as an experienced national coach, trainer, athlete, sports leader, this is my personal opinion and how I'm going to handle this. First, of course, I'm going to try and get the two people together to see if we can fix it without it going out in public and destroying each other. I know the head of Patafa, Philip Wico, Popoy Wico. EJ Buena is from Lasal. We inducted him in the Philippine Olympians Association. I don't know the young man personally. I haven't met him, only through Zoom. But I first and foremost, I wouldn't hand anything to the athlete. The athlete's job is just to sleep, eat, train, perfect his art or his sport, and try and get that gold medal in all the competition he's supposed to go to. Now, I will deal with the coach themselves directly if I was the one involved. And my problems with the coach will be different from my problems with the athlete. The athlete and the coach, they shouldn't have that problem because they have two different roles, and they should just focus on those things that they have to do to give greatness to our nation.
Okay, that's quite clear. So number one, you said it's wrong that they're handing out the money directly to the athlete, which is
for me.
practical. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you were a senator, how would you strengthen support for athletes? I know when you were a congressman, you co-authored the National Sports Training Center Act. The problem is there's not enough money for sports in this country, or I guess laws aren't strong enough to really support them. What would you do?
I don't want what happened to a good friend of mine in the 1996 Barcelona Olympics. Atlanta Olympics. When he won the silver medal, came home and was promised to be taken care of. And half of the promises were just given to him. And then later on, it was so sad what happened to him. He had to be an actor, and someone was just, tapping his head, hitting him. I don't like that. So I wanna make sure that when these athletes retire, they have something. Also, when they're an athlete, they should be taken care of, at least enough allowance. You're saying there's no money, Karen. There is money. There is money. It's just not going to the right people and to the right associations or the right
so what laws
departments.
would you craft? I mean, laws have been crafted that actually give or mandate the kind of reward money, the amount of reward money given to athletes who've won in the Olympics. So that's an improvement coming from the athlete you were sharing. So there have been moves, but what would you do? How would you improve it even more? So let's say, is it a retirement fund? What is close to your heart for athletes? What is it?
Yes. Okay, a retirement fund in a way. In other countries, the world champions I fought with 30 years ago, when I meet them again in international competitions and I ask them how they are, their country takes care of them, depending on the gold, silver, or bronze medal they win. And for as long as they're alive, they're given pension. And it's given to them whether they have a family or not. And, they're somehow secured. It's so sad to see Olympic athletes, Asian Games medalists, world medalists, selling their medals just to buy medicine. Okay, and they give honor to our country. I don't want to see that. So I will talk to my lawyers, but definitely I will put some time into this because I know the heart of the athlete. I was once upon a time like them, and I didn't get anything. I fought for love of the sport and love for country. I didn't win. I didn't get a single centavo. I sacrificed 7 hours a day, and when I see my teammates now, I feel so bad for them because they're really struggling. And it's like some of them have left the country because there's no future for them here, just like the nurses that are leaving, wherein they should be here training our youth and training our young people. Where's Lydia De Vega? She's in Singapore. Where's Isidro Del Prado? He's in Brunei. The great athletes that we made, they're not here taking care of our youth. They're in another country taking care of foreigners. We should keep them here. That's our talent. That's our... We made them, we hold them. So whatever they need, I'll have dialogues with athletes, coaches, whatever they need, and then I'll be open to their suggestions and come up with whatever I can if I make it, Now,
clearly you're quite passionate, of course, about sports. And I wanted to ask you, you were removed as the mission chief of the Philippine delegation by the Philippine Olympic Committee to the Southeast Asian Games. You issued a statement about that already. But the reason I'm asking this is several reports I've read before interviewing you is when you were a congressman, of course, your opponent criticized you. You were nowhere to be found. Di ka malapit sa tao. Tas eto naman, you would be the perfect person as the mission chief for the Philippine delegation, and you were removed. So, are you misunderstood? It would be a challenge, though, if you are a senator or in campaigning.
Karen,
Yeah.
I would just say it this way. Their principles and my principles on handling funds and dealing with people are two different things.
You mean the
Are two
Philippine
different
Olympic
values.
Committee? How they handle funds? Okay. So what would
That's
you
it.
do? What would you do with the Philippine Olympic Committee if you were a senator?
Well, I'll have to sit down and talk to them and make sure that it goes to the right places.
Would you amend, certain laws? I'm sure it has its own charter, but what kind of intervention would you make?
I just want to make sure that the athletes, the programs needed to create world champions and Olympic champions goes to the proper places. And I will consult with lawyers, of course. I'm not a lawyer, Karen, but
Yeah.
I mean well. I want to do the right thing.
Ang tanong ko, just to simplify, saan ba napupunta ngayon?
Hindi ko alam, Karen. Hindi ako po Philippine Olympic Committee official. I'm not part of that organization. I'm not part of that group. I also don't belong to the Philippine Sports Commission. Actually, I'm just observing from outside. But once upon a time, I was there. So I'd rather not comment. Better siguro you ask them where it's going. Okay. All I know is that I think we're still waiting for the liquidation and where the money went of the 2019 SEA Games when we hosted the Manila SEA Games. I think it's not yet finished. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's move forward. Let's move forward. Why Senator Ping Lacson?
Well, I've talked to him many times, and when you hear him and you talk to him, I think he's the most capable, most competent, most qualified leader that we need. He has good solutions to the problems of our country. He's a worker. He's got good qualities of a leader. I believe in his leadership, and the country, let's face it, has a lot of problems. So, and he believes in me. I think we have the same principles. As far as the short time that I've met with him and talked to him, he believes in me and I believe in him. So it's a mutual kind of admiration, or we work well together.
Okay.
So that's why I'm there with him.
All right.
And he's Reforma. He's Reforma Partido. I'm Reforma Partido.
So if you were a senator today, one of the contentious issues being discussed is the funding for the NTF-LCAC. Kung senador ka ngayon, babawasan mo ba ng pondo ang NTF-LCAC? May ilang senador na gusto na i-abolish ang NTF-LCAC.
Maybe not abolish. Maybe designate it properly, that it goes to the proper places. Know that some areas don't need it, some areas need it. It brings some kind of contentment and peace in an area that's needed. And also, not just to, what do you call this, that water lily philosophy. Our presidential aspirant always says, Ping Lacson, that yes, it removes, but then somehow it comes back. You have to find a way that when you're using those funds, when you remove those lilies, they stay there. They don't come back to the place. But I do believe it's needed. Maybe you just have to designate the areas where it's needed. It's not everywhere in the whole country that it's needed. So I don't agree with abolishing it. I do agree that it should be distributed properly at the right places.
Oo. Pero yung pondo sa budget na ito kasi ay tinaasan pa ang pondo para sa NTF-LCAC. Do you agree with that?
Maybe you don't. I don't know. I don't think you need to increase it. I think the problem has already decreased a lot because of this. So I don't understand why it needs to be increased. But I do believe you still need it. I don't think it's needed. It's needed to be. I don't think it's you need it to increase. But
Okay.
we need it. We need the budget for that.
Okay. One of the most more controversial laws that Senator Ping Lacson has authored is the anti-terror law. Human rights advocates have said that this anti-terror law can be abused depending on which administration in silencing political dissent and oppositors of any government. Do you support the anti-terror law fully, or do you have concerns?
Well, I want to review it and study it more. I cannot really decide, but I do believe people have a freedom of expression, and we need to, if they are really terrorists or people who want to destroy government, we need to investigate properly and just not tag them as just because they're there marching on the street, they're already terrorists or destroying the government. I have to review that, and I will study it much better. And I don't want to decide right now, but I do wanna study it more before I make a decision.
The number one candidate today for the presidency is former Senator Bongbong Marcos. Were you surprised? Yes. What do you make of a possible Marcos presidency?
I know him. He's a friend. His kids trained taekwondo under me. I promise not to say anything negative or positive. So I'd rather not comment, Karen,
okay.
on that. I'd rather just. Maybe if we're drinking a bottle of wine together, I can tell you my views.
So, but then as a politician, you will be interviewed and asked on all these things. It's par for the course.
Yeah. Like President, our aspiring President Ping Lacson and Tito Soto, Vice President Tito Soto says always that Monsour, we stand in our principles that when we are being asked about certain candidates, let's not meddle into their affairs. We focus on our agenda. We focus on our platforms. We go around and talk to people and leave that to other candidates who want to comment on them. And for as long as I'm not being attacked, I'm not being singled out, okay, and personalized, then I'd rather not comment, Karen. I hope you understand.
Of course. So I want to go now to a bit local, recent history. You did try to run for Vice Mayor of Makati?
Yes.
Yes. Have you already spoken with Makati Mayor Abby Binay? Are you in good terms?
I haven't spoken to her since 2018.
Okay. Now, wouldn't that have helped? I'm curious because you are running for the Senate. I mean, wouldn't you want Makati Mayor Abby Binay's support?
Yeah, well, I have the support of the brother. So that's fine with me already. And the father and the mother and the senatorial and Senator Nancy and Ann. And I have more of the Be Nice family support. So that's fine with me already.
Okay. I mean, considering your recent history, one would ask, are you really for politics? Politics is, some people would imagine you may be in a corporation.
Okay. I don't see myself as a politician. I don't come from a political dynasty. I don't have a father, mother, brother, sister who is in politics. I see myself as a public servant, someone who wants to serve his country and serve his people. And if people decide to see me as someone who wants me to serve them, And I'm offering myself to the public and showing them that there's an option, because I hear a lot of complaints that they want new faces. It's the same people again. It's always someone coming back or whatever. And I get wherever I go, high school reunion, grade school reunion, college reunion, friends from different sports. And people keep pushing me, Mon, try. I know you can do good. I know and we'll back you up. So, just for me, I think I see myself more as a public servant than a politician. I might not be a good politician because, you have there's wheeling and dealing there. But definitely you can assure me that I will serve the way I served as a fighter when I fought for the Philippine team for 8 years around the world.
Okay, so I want to thank you for being on our show, and I just want to say to those watching, so for the record, when Monsour Del Rosario was a congressman of Makati, he authored and co-authored more than 274 bills and resolutions filed at the House of Representatives, including the Telecommuting Act, Philippine Passport Act. So you've even have agriculture, amendment to the Public Service Act, etc., including strengthening the MMDA Act. So just to be fair, so people get to know you more, because it's not enough time for newbies like yourself. I mean, it's much harder, right? So I just wanted to let people know that that's out there. You do have that track record in the lower house. You can close, Monsour. What would you want to say?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much, Karen, for having me. And this is a good exposure for me, and people can hear me. I appreciate you inviting me and interviewing me. I would like to say to the people that, next year's election, we better choose, the right leaders, because if we choose the wrong leaders to serve our nation, we have a lot of problems facing right now. Right now, the country has a lot of problems. Let's choose a leader who can help solve these problems, and leaders that can help alleviate the lives of the Filipino people. A lot of people are suffering because of what we went through. So if you choose the wrong leader, baka lalo tayong malulunod sa problema natin. So ako, ang sinasabi ko lang, hindi ko pinipilit ang sarili ko sa inyo at mga kasama ko, pero mag-isip kayo mabuti, magdasal kayo, at pumili kayo ng totoong leader na qualified, may capability, at may competence na ayusin ang mga problema ng bansa natin. And that's all, Karen. I just want the best for our country and for our people. Yun lang, Karen. And thank you so much. And say hello to Melo for me. I miss him. He's a good friend. Okay. I know you're very close to him.
Thank you. All right. Monsour Del Rosario, thank you so much for joining me today. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. Thank you.